Former APC leader has questioned the rationale behind opposition's behavior and their unity ahead of the 2027 elections. He says the options before Nigeria is that of a devil lost between that of a person lost between the devil and the deep blue sea. We're speaking with Saliu Lukman tonight. And doctors are threatening to go on strike. We'll be finding out from them why. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Akimale, live for you here in our Abuja studio. Let's begin this evening by letting you know what the president is saying as far as healthcare agenda of this government is concerned. Today, we saw President Bola Tinubu meet with the Vaccine Alliance and delegation of Gavi, led by its Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Sania Nishtar, at the State House in Abuja. The president was reaffirming Nigeria's commitment to strengthening vaccine production and immunization. The meeting, the president said he personally wanted to welcome the Gavi officials into Nigeria and telling them much of how Nigeria stands on the heart of the African concept of seeking healthcare support, especially the role Gavi is playing globally. Take a listen to President Bola Tinubu at that meeting earlier today.
I'm here proudly saying that the seriousness that Nigeria takes the immunization, the vaccine, I know what is happening in America about vaccination and all of that. I'm informed. But we appreciate you. We owe it to the entire population to be foresighted, farsighted, and be committed to develop the capacity of the Africans and protect the future generation of newly born, to educate them. Yes, poverty is only not acceptable. And through education, dedication, and patriotism, we can conquer poverty. And we will do so. We can live a healthy life, paying attention to science and those who are behind it and funding it. Thank you. Thank your organization.
All right then. President Bola Tinubu earlier today speaking with officials from Gavi. So much for us to talk about. We look at the options Nigerians are up against or up for in 2027 as the different political parties display their contender or their candidate of the election. There are political parties that are not quite sure of who their candidates will be, as we see today what is happening in the People's Democratic Party. Much of how Nigerians should choose the options before them and the race ahead of the very crucial 2027 elections. That gets our attention, plus of course we'll tell you about what the resident doctors are planning and they are warning to down tools. But let's have you first, your political roundup stories.
The APC Governorship Election Campaign Council in Osun State has raised alarm over several attacks on members and loyalists of the party in the state since the commencement of the present political dispensation. The head of media and publicity of the council, Oluremi Omowaye, made this disclosure while addressing journalists on the violent attacks allegedly unleashed on APC members by the ruling Accord Party in the state. According to Amowai, the security of lives of residents of Osun State have been under serious threat, noting that about 20 APC members have been killed by political talks belonging to the Accord Party. The campaign council appeals to President Bola Tinubu to intervene and stop the political killings in Osun and prevent the state from being turned into a war zone. The immediate past registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Professor Ishiak Oloyede, is advocating the need for strong institutions built on integrity, technology, and transparency as key drivers to sustaining public confidence in tertiary admissions system. Professor Oloyede stated this during the handover ceremony to his successor, Professor Segun Aina, in Abuja, when he reflected on his 10-year stewardship and expressed confidence in the board's future. He explains that the board's achievements were anchored on 5 cardinal principles of staff welfare, discipline, technology, transparency, and networking, which guided reforms that strengthened the credibility of JAMB's operations. In his inaugural address, the new registrar, Professor Aina, pledged to preserve JAMB's integrity while building a stronger institution driven by professionalism, accountability, and continuous innovation. The military has reeled out what it describes as significant operational successes across the country in July 2026, neutralizing over 102 terrorists, rescuing 393 kidnapped victims, and dismantling criminal networks in sustained offensives against insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, and economic sabotage. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, says troops operating in collaboration with other security agencies and local vigilante groups intensified offensives across the 6 geopolitical zones, leading to major gains in the fight against insecurity. According to him, troops also secured strategic highways and rail corridors, destroyed terrorist camps, recovered arms and ammunition, dismantled illegal refining sites in the South-South, in addition to compelling several insurgents and their family members to surrender.
There you have it, your political roundup stories. Let's tell you about something that may be a bit of a confusion to a lot of people, especially followers of the People's Democratic Party and those who are closely watching that party. Today, we saw the Kabiru Turaki-led faction of the party saying it has manually submitted the name of former President Goodluck Jonathan as his presidential candidate for the 2027 general election. The press conference in Abuja, the faction's National Publicity Secretary, Ini Ememobong, says the interim leadership also submitted the names of his governorship, National Assembly, and State Assembly candidates in line with the Electoral Act 2026. Take a listen to him.
We are pleased to announce that notwithstanding INEC's refusal to provide us with the necessary access codes, the codes, of course, is an administrative convenience rather than a legal requirement. We have successfully submitted manually and in full compliance with the Electoral Act 2026 the entirety of the list of candidates sponsored by the Authentic People's Democratic Party. This submission, containing the names of our presidential candidate, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, as well as all governorship and National Assembly and National and State Assembly candidates, receipt of which has been duly acknowledged by INEC. As part of the electoral timetable, INEC will soon publish the names of candidates sponsored by political parties. Should the Commission publish names other than those validly and legally submitted by us, we urge our members, supporters, and teeming Nigerians who are eagerly waiting for the candidature of President Jonathan and other candidates of our party not to despair. We are exhausting every constitutional, legal, and democratic avenue to ensure that our party is not hijacked or annexed to the ruling political party, Any responsible electoral management body confronted with the situation where the PDP is, with conflicting judicial pronouncements and a pending appeal before the Court of Appeal, would exercise restraint pending the final determination of issues. Such caution would protect both the integrity of the electoral process and the rights of all parties. We sincerely hope that INEC, under the leadership of Professor Joash Amupitan, will adopt this prudent course.
Ini Bong speaking on behalf of the Turaki-led People's Democratic Party. Let me show you the faces of those who at least we know somehow that their names might be on the ballot. Take a look at what they might look like, from the APC to the NDC, the ADC. In the ADC, Atiku Abubakar. In the APC, it's Bola Tinubu. NDC, Peter Obi. SCP, Prince Adewale Adebayo. PRP, Donald Duke. AAC, Omoyele Sowore. Goodluck Jonathan, Senator Sandy Ono. Who exactly is going to be between these two men is still left to be seen. But it's less than a year to Nigeria's next general election. The political conversation is no longer just about who wins, but whether the country is being offered a genuine choice. Across the ruling APC and the opposition, questions are growing over leadership, party democracy, accountability, and the capacity to tackle Nigeria's economic and security challenges. In a thought-provoking article titled "Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, Political Strategies," and a former APC National Vice Chairman Northwest, Salihu Nukman, is arguing that unless the opposition closes ranks, strengthens its internal structures, and presents a clear vision for governance, many Nigerians may struggle to see a meaningful alternative. It is a conversation that goes right into the heart of the choices before many Nigerians as we go into the very crucial election race. I'm now being joined by the man who penned that article, Salihu Nukman. It's a very good honor to have you join us tonight on the program.
Thank you very much.
And I'll begin from the last comment made by the last guest on this program yesterday night, which is Mr. Festus Keyamo, who says 2027 election is more of coronation than election. Do you agree? Your articles seem to have agreed with what Festus Keyamo said, that 2027 will be more of coronation than election.
Sean, this is the pain. The pain every Nigerian is going through is that Nigeria desires a change for the better. By every standard of measurement, APC and President Asuwaju have disappointed Nigerians.
Is there a poll to show that?
You don't need a poll more than your own well-being. Even President Asuwaju himself, if he sit alone, he will admit to himself he's not happy with the way he has handled things in Nigeria.
Well, I mean, are you sure about that? I mean, because the people around the villa, do you think they always allow presidents? Whenever you know that when presidents are in that villa, it's like a cage.
Sheun, we can lie to ourselves. They can lie to themselves. But like I said in that article, the reality before us is almost like living in a tear gas environment. The 10 people are going through. You don't need any deeper analysis or search to be able to see it or feel it. Now, I mean, when I talk of the space between the devil and the deep blue sea, I mean, it's not to right of the opposition. When we started the advocacy for the coalition about 2 years ago, it was done based on the expectation that we will unite leaders of the opposition and at the same time focus on building the party to present an alternative in such a way that everybody will see this time around we are having a party which by the time we have elected representatives, they will be accountable to the party and there will be clear vision in terms of policies. Now, depend here we are practically go back to where we were in 2023. The same main actors have split again. And in fact, the arrogance of APC people is basically on account of our inability to present a united front and show that we are truly challenging the APC and President Asuwaju, which is why Festus Keyamo can make the statement he made about coronation. Now, I am highlighting all these issues largely because we need to wake up to understand that Nigerians are looking forward to all of us to present that alternative, to move the country forward. And it's a question of our leadership in the opposition being ready and willing to make the sacrifices needed, not to now put personal ambition over and above the destiny of the country. So these are the issues, Sheun. And sincerely speaking, we have to challenge our leaders. We have gone around almost 2 years of negotiation. We entrusted everything in the hands of the leadership of the opposition to drive the process, and we have come to this point. The position of many of us is that we need to come back and take up the challenge and drive the process ourselves to get the opposition to, and it has to be transparent.
Let me ask you, Malam Lukman, you were one of the intellectual architects of the APC merger in 2013 and played a significant role in its emergence in Nigeria's governing ruling party. Today, you describe APC as a failed party, weakened by sycophancy, propaganda, and institutional collapse. You, as an intellectual, one of the intellectual architects of the party, do you accept the blame? Are you accepting responsibility of what you have said has befallen Nigeria in your article?
Look, Sheun, I don't need to, belabor the issue.
Or you accept complicity?
Look. When we started in 2012, 2013, advocacy for the man, we were very clear. We wanted a party that is progressive. We wanted a party that will bring about change in Nigeria, change in terms of throwing up political competition.
You said so about Bola Tinubu too, and what it will do for Nigeria.
The reality is that over time, the process of degeneration in APC, it has been there, and we've been engaging the issues, making advocacy, appealing to leaders. You've written
a lot of open letters, and you have said. So in your own mind,
that is the frustration that drove some of us out of
including
APC.
Someone like Nasir El-Rufai.
Of course, yes.
You are of the school of thought of Nasir El-Rufai. And this is not about selfish ambition, is it?
It's not.
You were not recognized.
Look, go and check. I have said so to people. If I wanted to aspire to contest for election, even currently, I could have done so. But many of us are very clear what needs to happen, where we need to invest our own talent and our own personal resources is more in terms of getting the party right. This democracy will remain a joke once we don't have a party standing on its foot.
You said, and invariably what we are saying tacitly is that the Tinubu and the APC-led government has failed Nigerians.
That is very clear.
And there are no basis for you to think that they've even tried. You don't think that there are any indices
between you and I, the challenge before us as patriots, as Nigerians, is to do everything possible to get APC and President Tinubu out of government.
Just for the sake of it?
Not for the sake of it.
For what purpose?
We have to move this country forward in such a way that Nigerians will be proud with the country they have. We have to have a government that will be able to manage resources in the interest of ordinary people.
And there's no hope in this Bola Tinubu's
there is no,
trajectory.
Even by his own yesterday, go back yesterday, what did he was appealing to his governors to stop constructing flyovers. This is a party that is boasting of over 30 governors.
Is it redeemable?
It's because it's not redeemable. That is why the opposition must get its act together and present a viable, where we don't want to go and contest an election and end up with what Keyamo said yesterday about coronation.
Invariably, you think that if we go the way we are going, Tinubu is landslide.
This is exactly, look, like I said in that article you referred to. At the moment, confidence of Nigerians in the electoral process is very low. So the probability of voter apathy is very high.
So people may just think, oh, and this is coronation.
Exactly.
We don't need to go out anyways.
Go and check. Once there is voter apathy, incidences of electoral manipulation, rigging, and what have you will be high. So, like I said in that article, at the end of the day, we may end up with a situation. It's a case of who can rig better. And so far, rigging is a function of the resources you control. I mean, check incidences of vote buying now is so high. So look, we need to get in. Right now, Nigerians don't have much confidence in even the opposition, largely because we remain divided.
Let's be truthful to ourselves. I mean, I don't want us to tonight be talking politics. I want us to talk as patriots, people who are patriotic to this country and who love this country genuinely. You paint this government as though there's nothing good that has come out of their performance so far since 2023.
Look, Chewon, go and play back. If you remember, I was the first to flag up, my own worry, as far back as around, I think, July 2023. That time I was still a member of APC, when I wrote about disturbing signals, when the issue of removal of subsidy was not backed by any concrete policy.
Cushioning.
To cushion the effect and ensure that there is a clear direction that the country will benefit from that policy. At the same time, there was the question of deregulating the exchange rate and floating it and what have you. So, look, I mean, at the moment, Sheun, go and check. We are running about 3 or 4 budgets concurrently. And at the same time, you hear agencies and ministries complaining about not getting the
capital releases.
The capital releases. Why are we having that kind of situation? Yet, what you keep hearing is that part of the achievement of the government is that, there is they have saved from subsidy and there is more money now. So what is the issue?
Because this government will say that the pains is going to be temporary. We are almost entering into the 4th year, and they say we'll start seeing the gains. And if you ask anyone in this government, they will tell you about NELF fund. They will tell you about the credit core. They will tell you about what they are doing in terms of healthcare, what they are doing in terms of the education reforms. And they will say, look, there hasn't been anything like this that have been done in terms of reforms, tax reforms, and all of that in the
let's talk as patriots.
Yeah, and the question I would like to ask is that we know that things were difficult before this government got into power. And are you saying that this government is just all a ruse or a lie, that Nigerians should never think and believe whatever they say to us?
It's for them to prove themselves, but the evidences are very clear in terms of even production indices. I mean, check. This is an agricultural country. What is the state of agriculture today? We import more food than we were importing in 2023. Most farmers now cannot recover their cost, largely because cost of input have skyrocketed. I mean, look, these are basic. What we need, if, for instance, APC and President Asuwaju are progressive as they claim, simple recognition of these challenges may enable Nigerians to say, okay, since they admit these problems exist, maybe they have some commitment to address them. But they are in denial. Every day what you hear from them is that the government is achieving a lot.
So as far as you're concerned, Nigerians should write off this government?
I have written the government off.
Would you say this is the worst government we had since the 4th Republic?
Look. I don't want to go in that direction. But I can argue that Nigeria deserve better
than what we get into.
Than what we are having.
Let me ask you. You painted a bleak picture in that article. You're arguing that Nigerians are faced with a choice between the ruling APC and opposition that is hardly different. If both sides are fundamentally flawed, are you effectively asking Nigerians to lose faith in the democratic process, or what?
What I'm asking Nigerians is we must challenge the opposition to also sit up and prove that they are different.
You are a member of the opposition.
I'm a member of the opposition.
You're a member of the
and
ADC.
Which is what...
Right?
Yes, I'm a member of the
ADC. Is the ADC a formidable opposition? Does it have a platform?
I am arguing that we are not doing enough. And we must engage our leaders to wake up and ensure that, and when I say our leaders, not just ADC, what I want as a Nigerian is that I want the situation where the opposition will present a united front.
So let me ask
on
you,
clear agreement.
Point blank. And you've been in politics for years. You know it. You've worked with parties to birth governments. So you know what can win or what cannot win. Can an Atiku in a free, fair election defeat Bola Tinubu if elections were conducted tomorrow?
Because I'm having difficulty to answer that very positively. That is why I'm challenging us to sit up and do what will give confidence that that is possible.
With the status quo, you think that Bola Tinubu can defeat anyone as it is today?
As it is, yes.
Peter Obi against Bola Tinubu.
Look,
Donald Duke against Bola Tinubu.
My argument, Sheun, let's not belabor the issue. This is the same scenario that played out in 2023.
This unity in opposition.
This unity in opposition.
So you are asking for a coalition.
I'm asking, that has been my...
Is that possible?
I'm saying it is possible.
I thought that...
I am arguing that what is required at this point is to take it to the doorstep of our leaders in the opposition, to prove their patriotic disposition to the country and show that they are willing to make the needed sacrifice to bail the country out of its current situation. And I don't think it's too much to ask. This is a generation of leadership that the country has invested almost everything in them.
Well, let's be precise in what you are asking the opposition leaders to do. In practical terms, are you asking them to collapse their political party structures and unify into one, or what exactly?
Thank you for
how would you go about what you are proposing?
Thank you for asking that question. And we are going to come out. We are doing consultation. We are going to be very clear by the early next week about all of these things. We have to force them to negotiate it. Because at the end of the day, yes, we have NDC, we have ADC, we have, you can see even PDP now is in two factions. It is for, look, we have to, not mistake the challenge we had in the past is that we have trusted the opposition leadership too much and we surrendered the process in their hands. And it's been mismanaged almost to the point that we'll go back. As a Nigerian, honestly, it's a nightmare to think of APC and President Asuwaju having another 4 years.
You think what will happen if they win?
I mean, clearly, they have no answer to the challenge. Things keep getting worse.
Nigeria could go under, or what are you suspecting could happen?
As a person, I want to be optimistic that Nigeria will not go under, but I want to see evidential reason to support me. So
when the government of the day and the APC says Nigeria is on the right trajectory, IMF, the World Bank are saying their policy is the right policy and they are going in the right direction. You don't think all of those are true?
Sheun, you and I are here. When I wake up, my situation is getting worse. I'm struggling, my income has not increased at all. And I'm using myself as a reference point because that is the situation facing every Nigerian. And every day you wake up, what is the inflation rate now? Go and check. Every day prices keep going up. And we are all struggling. What is you describe, all of us are supposed to be part of middle class. We have been debased.
Malam Lukman, let me ask you, the practicality of what you're saying is that we should have a coalition. And the term, just a moment, sir, the term merger, it was what you and your colleagues worked for pre-2015. In 2013, 2012, 2013, you were working towards it. You achieved it in 2015, and it achieved the aim, the change agenda of the merger of the coalition at that time was to the effect that they were going to remove Goodluck Jonathan. And there are those who say at the time, they were even comparing Goodluck Jonathan to a goat. They were comparing him as clueless. They said all manner of things to Goodluck Jonathan. And you guys were the ones who raised the propaganda. You said it was the worst thing that could happen to Nigeria. It happened. You formed the merger. You replaced Goodluck Jonathan. And there are those who will be thinking now that you helped to build the coalition that you condemn today. Isn't history repeating itself?
Look, Sheun, I thank you for bringing these issues. Go back and play the last 2 years. From the beginning, what we keep arguing is that the coalition will only be meaningful if all opposition leaders are united under one party.
Is that not too late now?
It's not.
They've gone into their different, they are all going to the ballot. Who would you say should jettison his own ticket and form coalition?
All we are asking, there is only one parameter required in this matter. And that parameter is simple. Leaders should put the country over and above their personal interests. And on the basis of that, we should be able to see those who don't believe in the country. Because once you can't put your ambition, you can't put the country over your...
Let me put you right on the spot. What would be your best scenario? You have put Bola Tinubu and Shetima and the APC on this side, and you say Nigerians should reject them. What would be the best scenario that you think that the
best scenario,
the rest of the Nigerian people...
I will answer it straightforward.
Yeah.
The best scenario will be a situation where all the opposition leaders come together.
Okay.
And on the basis of that, say, okay, for this 2027 election, these are based on ABCD, who we are supporting. We will all queue behind that.
If you are to suggest tonight, and I know that I'm putting you, and I said it again, if you are to make that suggestion, would you say Atiku should step down and support Peter Obi, or Peter Obi should step down and support Atiku, or who exactly would be the leading light?
I'll put it differently.
Okay.
My argument will be both of them should be ready to step down for one person. Both of them have to come ready for that.
So you don't think
because
that
at the end of the
two of them should not be should not be the front liner?
I'm not saying the two of them should not. One of them can be in the front line.
Okay, and one should back the other up.
However it is, and it's a function of negotiation. And my own argument is simple. They should ask themselves, if they continue the way they are going and end up losing the election, is that what they want? What will be their, in fact, it's simply, at the end of the day, shutting themselves out completely.
But you've said Atiku and Obi are not fundamentally different. On what basis are you saying that?
My argument is that at the moment, we can talk in terms of personality. And we have seen, we don't want to talk in terms of personality. Let's negotiate on the basis of which we see the commitment, what they are committing themselves to. And on the basis of that, we can say, okay, this is the distinction. But I am more interested in getting them to have a distinction that will show them over and above President Asuwaju.
So let's conclude this conversation. You're saying Bola Tinubu and the APC are on the road to victory if opposition does not get its act together, and you are predicting that if they insist, they are all going to fail. Is that what you are saying?
That is what
would be your final hard-hitting word to them tonight. If you are to face Atiku face to face, Peter Obi face to face, Donald Duke face to face, Showore face to face, Adewale Adebayo face to face, what will be your parting words to them tonight?
My parting word will be that we are going to confront them and ensure that they prove to Nigerians they love Nigeria more than their personal ambition. And on the basis of that, contest the 2027 election as a united front.
Malam Saliu Lukman, a former APC National Vice Chairman Northwest, who is now a leader in the ADC. Thank you so much indeed. And always a pleasure reading your article. Always thought-provoking. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. We take a break, everyone, but when we return, we'll be speaking with the president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. They are threatening to go to down tools, but if that happens, they form one of the biggest blocks within the Nigerian medical practice. What does this mean for the Tinubu government and its healthcare agenda? That's going to be our next topic after this break, everyone. Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. Let's now get our conversation to the politics of healthcare in Nigeria. Resident doctors said they will down tools from the 10th of August, which they call a total nationwide strike looming. He said if outstanding demands are not met, they're saying that they're demanding payment of salary, promotion, comments, and professional allowance arrears. They've called for implementation of outstanding agreements with the federal government. They're seeking improved welfare, better hospital infrastructure, and enhanced patient safety. I'm now being joined by the president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, who is live for us here in Abuja. So many thanks.
Thank you for having me. Good evening to our viewers.
Thank you so much. Let's begin. Resident doctors have given the federal government until the 10th of August. That's just about 11 days to this time to address your demands or face a total nationwide strike. Why have you concluded that industrial action is now the only language government will respond to despite ongoing engagements?
It's unfortunate that we have arrived at this point. The National Executive Council looked at the whole issues in totality. I can tell you from when we suspended our strike on the 29th of November last year, we had continuously been engaging government. We were to resume that strike as at 12th of January, we shifted it. We were to resume it again at 29th of January, we shifted it. It was to be resumed by the end of February and April, we kept shifting it. As at our May OGM, at the end of May, we gave another 3 weeks ultimatum while these discussions were ongoing. At the expiration of that 3 weeks ultimatum, we shifted it by another 4 weeks. And now, Sheun, we are here with very, very valid and vital issues. What are those most important issues?
So would you say, just before you get into
Yes,
that,
please.
that federal government has not been sincere? Because if you're shifting the goalposts, that's what it looks like, what you have described.
The National Executive Council is only concerned about results. Whatever the intention is, we should solve problems.
So they've moved the timelines about twice now?
Have been 4 times.
4 times.
4 times in the last 7 months.
And these are agreements that dated back to how many years now?
Some of them, like the professional allowance table you were just talking about, was supposed to be corrected since 2019. It was not. It was corrected last year. And federal government asked for the arrears not to count from 2019. It counted, I think, from June or July of 2024. So there's an 18 months arrears that is currently not being talked about.
Your communique, which it was in Gombe that you sat, isn't it?
Yes.
It listed unpaid comments arrears, 19 months of professional allowance arrears, salary arrears, promotional arrears, and unresolved welfare issues. Which of these is the real tipping point? And can the government realistically resolve them within the deadline you set? Just 10 days.
Realistically, shown in the last 1 year, about 30 resident doctors have been assaulted in different hospitals in Nigeria. Of the 30 resident doctors, I can tell you there's another 20 nurses and other healthcare service providers within Nigerian tertiary hospitals. And based on the statistics we have at the Secretariat of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, perhaps 7 or 8 of those cases have been, where the assailants have been arrested, have been taken to court and charged for the crime they committed. It's increasingly becoming a realistic fear that you could be assaulted, you go into the emergency, see patients, and then before you know it, you're getting assaulted.
Who are the people? Are the family of the patients or the patients themselves? What?
All of the above.
On what basis do they assault doctors?
You see, there's something called clinical governance. We have a lot of challenges within the healthcare sector. You can't really pinpoint one item and say, this is it. Sometimes it could be power failure, and you needed to go to theater, there's no power, you won't be able to power those machines to be able to operate on that patient.
But the federal government says most of the hospitals are now on some independent power and support. I mean, the federal government has mounted a lot of infrastructure reforms.
The report from our members and leaders across 100 centers in Nigeria, both state and federal government, tells us that power is still a challenge. I mean...
has there been an improvement in infrastructure within the health sector in Nigeria in the last 3 years?
Over how long? Why are you choosing 3 years?
No, because I mean, I'm judging because we can only hold accountable the government that is in power, and that's what I'm asking over the last 3 years. They said they've done quite a lot, but you are a practitioner. You are not. You didn't just arrive in Nigeria and that's what I'm asking you. Over the last 3 years.
You know why I'm smiling, Sean?
Yeah.
I'm smiling because I'm a young practitioner. I've practiced for 16 years. And it doesn't satisfy any clinical significance if we create a window of 3 years to answer this question. As far as I am concerned, from the time I started practicing till date, there has been some marginal improvements. Is it where we need to go to? No. Can we do better? Absolutely. What is my concern? Apart from this assault, I have house officers. These are the youngest of the profession, who about 104 of them have 3 to 5 months arrears. About 25 of them have 9 months arrears shown. They have been working for 9 months and they don't get their salaries. Of the ones that actually do get their salaries shown, they get their salary, for instance, January salary, they get it by the 3rd or last week of February. In this country, people who work for the entire month.
This is what goes on right now.
Right now, and they have to wait for the end of the next month to get the salary of the previous month. I mean, the National Executive Council is not worried about what the statistics is in the last 3 years. As far as they are concerned, there are house officers who are not getting their pay as at when due. There are those of them who have arrears, over 130 of them that have arrears. In fact, at the last count, someone told us that of the 130, only 7 or 11 will get their arrears. The rest will have to wait until the end of their housemanship. How is that tenable? And then we have cases of assaults. And then in Luth, for instance, Lagos University Hospital, where currently the seat of power in Nigeria sits, we have a management that is making it look as if doctors are beggars of call meal. For 7 years, they have not provided call meals. Now they are telling us there's no circular in the federal government.
Explain to laymen what that means.
So when you're on call, it's a requirement that you must be available. And I've explained calls in previous encounters we've had. Call is when from close of work from 4 in the evening till 8 the next morning. If it's a weekend, from 8 in the morning till Monday morning by 8. You are expected to be at your duty post. And in that duty post, you are expected to be vigilant, active, take care of cases, stabilize, refer, manage as the case may be. Now, you are human. You would require basic human functions. Relieve yourself, pray, rest, and eat. And then 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago in this country, wise men thought of it that to keep the doctor active within the hospital and other healthcare workers, give him a meal, 1 meal per 8 hours or per 12 hours, so that he doesn't have to leave the hospital.
The duty post.
7 years ago, some wise men in Luth decided it is time for that to stop. For some reason, they were able to extract it. And now we're beginning to have issues. For instance, Luth will tell you its IGR is shrinking. Who is the chief primary driver of that IGR? Is the resident doctor. Because he will see the patient, there's consultation. He will request investigations, it is being paid for. He will request a CT scan, an X-ray, an ultrasound scan, a chest X-ray, multiple. He will prescribe medications, he will admit, he will send to theater. Hospital raises revenue. In addition, that resident doctor is the primary reason why morbidity and mortality is coming down. And then the tradition that has trained the current managers of Luth, providing call meal. You know, they now say, no, we provide free call meal only on Salah and Christmas and public holidays, as if doctors are beggars of food. What we're telling them is no problem. You can keep your meal ticket. You can keep the call meals. What we will do, at the beginning of the call, our members will take 2, 3, 4 hours, go home, cook, eat, get ready, and come for the call. Nobody will complain if that happens. So you see, Shaun, the National Executive Council of NAD is not really interested about statistics of last 3 years. These are things that have been happening. I just quoted 7 years to you, twice, on different matters.
You gave them 10 days. Do you think they can realistically meet those? Because what is imminent, 22% of doctors registered with the MDCN are resident doctors. It means something. That when 22% of the entire workforce of Nigeria healthcare system, or the doctors in Nigeria registered, are down to, there is a disaster waiting to happen in the healthcare system. Is 10 days sufficient for the federal government and the Minister of Health to be able to answer to this call?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's be practical about the solutions. You mentioned 22% of doctors in Nigeria, according to the MDCN register. That figure was probably 45 or 50% 15 years ago. How do you keep a doctor in this country when a house officer doesn't get his January salary until the end of February? Or a house officer works for 9 months without salary? They will all leave. Or you're telling a senior resident who is in O&G, who sleeps over in the labor room, who probably will conduct 2, 3 CSs overnight, that you cannot provide call meal because it is not covered by a federal government circular. How do you expect that doctor to stay? That is why the numbers are dwindling. Secondly, we're talking about assault. How long does it take to apprehend an assailant? There are CCTV cameras that have captured them. What is difficult in apprehending someone who has committed a crime by assaulting an officer of the civil service? As simple as that. What is difficult in the office of the Accountant General, or the Ministry of Finance, or the MDCN, coming out with clear guidelines or platforms that will ensure when the NAD president gets his salary, or Mr. President of the country gets his salary, the house officer also gets his salary. Now, these are issues that will be giving this bureaucratic bottleneck problem a big brouhaha. But in a real sense, these are policy changes that can be effected. I mean, corpers get their salaries as at when due. Core members. I mean, it's not any snide on core members, but house officers are equally important. They are serving the nation. Can't we put the house officers on the same platform that pays core members? You know, so when you look at it, when you look at the challenges, for instance, Shaun, let me add one thing. There's something called collective bargaining. Collective bargaining agreement. This is a mechanism via which the federal government reviews salaries of its employees. Last year, around June, we were told, come and do CBA for 3 months. We hope to round it up in 3 months. Shaun, as I'm talking to you today, we don't know when that CBA is going to be concluded. No one knows when the next meeting of that CBA will hold. These are challenges that breed despair. We still have excess workload. We still have burnout.
It worries me because there are those, we have about 55,000 registered medical doctors.
I don't think we have 55,000 doctors practicing in Nigeria. I may be wrong.
Registered.
Well, yes, registered.
So, and in that number alone in one country, the UK alone, account for 4,600 or more doctors that have left Nigeria in 3 years, from 2023 to 2026. And we have not that UK is not the leading country, or maybe it's one of the leading countries that have received more Nigerian doctors, trained doctors. You have in the Gulf countries, you have Canada, you have in the United States. And in all of these countries, we have higher number or almost equal numbers that have gone into the UK. The UK has the statistics which shows about almost 4,700 trained Nigerian doctors. And you know how much it takes to train a Nigerian doctor. Out of the 55,000 that we said we have on the register, there are possibility because of this condition that we might lose more. What would you say the government should do immediately? Because here they are dwindling situation as status in the Nigerian health sector, but the doctors are angry, and the same thing that we are seeing is a disappointing situation that we find ourselves. You are a senior medical practitioner in this country. What is the way out? An average Nigerian that is watching you, you have painted something that looks like a bleak scenario in the healthcare sector in Nigeria. What is the way forward?
Well, the resultant effect of what you're talking about means today, ask hospitals, in fact, ask the federal government. They put out adverts for interviews to employ resident doctors. Nobody goes. The numbers have dwindled. You go for exams. 10 years ago, when you call for exams, 300, 500 people per department or faculty will apply across the country, each subspecialty. Today, there are specialties that will have 2, 1, some will have none that will apply for postgraduate exams, which means doctors are running away from training. The federal government better look at that. 1. 2, the collective bargaining is, the last time salaries were reviewed in the health sector was 2012 or 2013. The collective bargaining is a signal for hope. That needs to be concluded. You are now tolerating assault. You're tolerating house officers' delays in salaries, the youngest of the profession. Those being assaulted are not senior colleagues, except for the case that EFCC went to Uyo and assaulted a professor. Or a larger majority of those cases are young doctors. That counts in their.
So it is no retreat, no surrender.
That we bring these things forward to the federal government to put their eye on means we want it solved. You don't solve it, you encourage people to.
So it is no retreat, no surrender.
Absolutely,
for NAD.
Absolutely.
Is that how they fix it?
Absolutely. In fact, the National Executive Council made it very clear that, Mr. President, you have asked us to postpone this ultimatum 1 too many times, 4 times in 7 months, and you still have these challenges lingering.
All right. Dr. Suleiman, thank you so much, and I wish you and your colleagues the very best. I'm hoping that the federal government will do something, and urgently too. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you for
when 22% of your working population in the healthcare medical practice, the doctors are saying they will down to, you better do something before it's too late. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Wakimale. God bless Nigeria.